Hi, I'm George Argo with Argo Electrical Services, and I am the surge protector guy. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a 4-foot fluorescent light installation. What I have here is a 4-foot T8 fixture that holds 4 bulbs. Alright, now this dude's got an electronic ballast. It's the latest energy saver stuff. I've pre-knocked the entrance hole for our feeder wires right here. You see my finger, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this plastic grommet. The grommet protects the wires from scratching on the side of the fixture itself and then obviously shorting itself out. All you got to do, it's a pre-knocked 1/2-inch hole. I knocked it out with my side cutters. I'm popping it in right now. And it really is pretty easy. I'm making it harder than it is. There you go. You just squeeze one end around, pops right in there, then the wires will go through that. And here's the cover. When we have this guy installed, the cover will lay right in there. It covers up the ballast and all the wiring. And we've got 4 T8 light bulbs and the outer cover. If your outer cover is busted, always get those replaced in a due timely fashion. If one of these light bulbs bust and you're under it, you're subject to getting glass in your eye. There's a poison gas in these light bulbs that could make you very sick. Now, the other things that I'm going to need to install this light, I've got a drill with a Phillips tip #2 bit on there. I've got side cutters and wire strippers. I've got a chisel to pop a hole in the ceiling for my toggle bolts. I've got 2 1/4-inch, 2-inch toggle bolts along with washers. We always use the washers so it doesn't pull through the metal of the light itself. And then I've got some wire connectors. These are called wire nuts. That was what came off the original light. Anytime you remove some of these in your own property or on the job, always use a new one. And we've also got the new wire connectors, which by code in 2011, they require these quick connectors. They actually work pretty good. They're a little bit more expensive. This is the only application we use them for is in lighting, but they're really good. All right, now it's time for the installation. Okay, here we are where we're going to install our light. Now, first off, I have a voltage tester. Some electricians call it a tick tracer. What it does is let me know when there's voltage present in the electrical lines. You see we've got the bare ground in residential, the white, which is the neutral wire, and the hot wire. You hear it beeping. I'm going to ask my assistant to flip the switch to the light off. All right, she's flipped the switch off. All right, so now it's dead. So I know I'm working on a dead circuit. All right. Never trust anyone else's word. Always use your own test equipment when dealing with electrical circuits. Now, another trick I always use, may not be the smartest, but I take my side cutters and I put the ground wire to the hot wire just to make sure. Be careful, if it was live, it would have flashed just then. All right, so we've got a dead circuit. You can also just turn the power off to the box completely. But being that this is a laundry circuit, if I flip the switch off, the receptacle in the back that this little lamp is plugged into would be off. All right, so now I'm getting it prepared to go into the light itself that we showed you before. Now, I came to right here and I tried to knock a hole, but you can see sheetrock mud is falling back down where the sheetrock is settled over the years. So I have a stud running right here. So I'm going to just use one single sheetrock screw here to attach the light. Over here, I'm going to use our toggle bolt that I showed you before. Okay, so let's get started. I have to come down and get a screw. I wasn't completely ready here. All right. So now, also, I've forgotten to take these screws out that were holding up the old box. Alright. Never used Craftsman battery tools before. Those were a Christmas gift, but I like them pretty good. They seem to work pretty well. Alright, so now we have our light fixture. And I'm going to stick the wires down through my plastic grommet, just like we talked about earlier. Can be a little bit aggravating, but ultimately they work pretty good. Now, the main trick of this deal is to just get one started. Once you do that, you're in pretty good shape. Till then, it is a little awkward. Some people would use two guys to do this, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea. All right. Now I've already had my hole marked. There we go. Didn't seem to hold very good. Let's see if I pop another one in there. I may have missed the actual stud. All right. Now I've got my toggle bolt here. Stick this guy in there. Go. Great. Alright, it appears I put my screws in the wrong spot. Okay. Because my holes are not matching up. I'm going to remove these two real quick. Toggle bolts are really the way to go. They hold a lot better than traditional screws, just because the toggle end spreads open once it gets up in the sheetrock, and then the light is hanging freely. You can tighten it up after that to make it the exact width that you want. And I'll show you with my tape measure that we're coming off the wall to make it look square in the room. All right. Seem to be real tight. Anyway, gist of it. Now, we pull off the center of our box, and I'm at 47.5 inches. So I'm going to come here. That screw is at 47.5. So hopefully this toggle bolt is at 47.5. It is about 1/8 of an inch. So as I'm tightening it up, I can pull it back just a little bit to make the light square. There. Now that guy is tight. It will not come down. So we have. Now I'm going to try and find one more good spot for this screw. For some reason I'm not hitting the stud. Alright, so now, this is the factory deal, and these guys do work. I just prefer the store-bought connector that I showed you a moment ago. You just strip the wire off like so. It has to be a solid wire to use these, otherwise it won't go in there. Well, I'm on the wrong size. There we go. There we go. It also helps to have good strippers when you're doing this. Anyway, you just take this guy, stick it in the hole. It's a little weird when you first get used to it, especially if your hands are sweaty. The wire doesn't want to go all the way in, but it will work just fine. Thanks for making a storyteller out of me. There we go. I like that one a lot better. Alright, so now we have the white wire. Let's go for our number 12 wire. There, see, this does not, that one was very tight. Alright, now we got hot wire. I'm going to do him last. Even though we know our circuit is off, I'm going to always wait until the end to tighten down my hot wire, because until that wire is tied to the system, as long as you're not grounded, it can't hurt you. Alright. Now, back in the old days, a lot of these guys would wire up lights and they wouldn't tie ground to it. Do not do that. You will get into the setup and you will get bit. That is just the way you need a ground. The fixture itself, even though we're in residential and we're not mounted to steel, it's just mounted to sheetrock. The light itself will provide some resistance. Alright, now of course I've got my bulbs in the protective cover. Scoot those out. This guy slides right in there. There's little ears in the light itself.